teacher with 40 years experience in BC was fired the other day within a matter of hours because he dared bring up in his classroom a question as to whether, in fact, all the residential school children who had lost their lives, and there's many of them, there's no question about that, were as a result of cruelty, or maybe it's because of smallpox or other disease. Just bring this up for discussion. Somebody said, "You're fired." He's out. Education and wokeism. Brian Lilley is with the Toronto Sun. He knows all about being educated, and he knows all about woke. And let me just ask you this. I mean, are we having such a closed mind in schools that we can't even discuss options or alternatives?
I think so. And look, I'm not a fan of what happened with the residential school system.
Oh, no one is.
But yet, if you go back in history and you read the actual documents and you read the debates of what happened, all the best progressive minds, all the top people said, this is what we need to do. And you can look at throughout history and you can find examples like this of people saying, this is what we need to do. Anybody looking at it would have said, you know what, tearing kids away from their parents, bad idea. But I'll tell you this, Stephen, 2008, I think it was, Stephen Harper gave the official apology in Parliament. I was there and I interviewed survivors. And I interviewed survivors with horrific stories of abuse.
Yes.
And it was awful.
Yeah.
But I also interviewed people who said, well, that wasn't my experience. I actually had a good experience. But I understand that others had bad experiences.
And maybe their parents were terrible parents. It happens with Indigenous and non-Indigenous, and sometimes they have to go in and take kids.
You cannot bring up the fact that some people, and I wish I still had the recordings that I had from the radio station I was working at the time, because people said, I did not have a horrible experience. But now you cannot say that. To say that is to be canceled. And I will not defend residential schools. I don't think they should be defended. But for somebody to be fired for saying tuberculosis or smallpox killed children, as opposed to violence and negligence, that's probably accurate. It's just like all these people saying...
Probably accurate, but we should find out, and part of it is to discuss things. So what's going on in schools where you can't talk about things, and you have school boards who are saying, shut up, this is education.
Well, look, we've got the situation where people are describing these as mass graves, or we didn't know about them. All of these were in the 2016 Truth and Reconciliation Report. You can look up where these graves are. And if you talk to the actual bands where these graves are located, they say, yeah, this is not new. You know who's doing it? It's not Indigenous communities. No. It's woke white people who want to get angry at other white people who aren't towing the line. That's the problem here. And that's what we need to get. You talk to the bands, they say, stop this.
Yeah. No, I have spoken to Indigenous people, and they say it's appalling what's going on. WWP, woke white people. Brian, thanks very much. 3 minutes. Thank you for contributing. We are almost out of the hole. People like the show, and we want to keep it on the air. So press subscribe, press PayPal. PayPal is really simply a credit card that you can pay with. And if you're writing a check or a letter, please put your address in, because I will send a letter to everybody who contributes money. Subscribe, PayPal. Thank you.